Actually, I'll have to. How are you doing, Brendan?
I'm good, eh? Just doing some technological things. How are you?
Oh, there's Danielle. You eating a croissant in some besides some waterway, Danielle?
I wish I were, but I thought for privacy's sake and for quiet, I'd return to Misha's unit. But
Oh,
I am having a quick coffee. I've just been on a walk of the city for a couple of hours.
nice.
So
Lovely.
I'm having refreshment in your company.
Danielle's beaming in from Amsterdam for those who weren't
Oh,
aware.
no.
Okay, why don't we just take a few moments to settle? It's Friday night. Some of you probably had a busy time, and it's always nice to do what we can to let go of whatever else we've been up to when we start something new. So we can have in mind that conscious thought of letting go of the past, leave the past where it is in the past, and at the same time not go chasing off into some fantasy about the future, but bring our attention more particularly to this present moment. And it's often helpful to use the anchor of the breath, just to have that sense of being in present moment awareness. But maybe it's as simple as just leaving your senses open and just noticing what is coming into your awareness. So it's often helpful to just consider that here we are at a particular time, in a particular place. And so there's that open curiosity just to notice what's actually happening in this particular place at this particular time. So maybe you notice background noises, and that's the intention, just to simply be aware of them. And if you notice yourself wishing something would change, just bring yourself back to that sense of simple awareness, just noticing. So letting go of the judgment or commentary, just simple present moment awareness. And if you do notice a sound takes your attention and you start running with it in your mind, as soon as you notice that, just bring your awareness back to the breath again or to the sounds, sensations. Same with any thoughts or emotions that might be coming and going in your mind. That background understanding that they're just thoughts, and doing what you can to be simply aware of them, to notice them, but not get caught up in judgment about them, wishing you could think of something different or having a particular thought go away. Just being content to allow them to come when they're ready, go when they're ready. And it can be good to remind ourselves of our motivation. We probably all came to meditation for our own particular and personal reasons, but now as teachers, we've got this incredible opportunity to be able to help other people to do what we found helpful and so many other people down through the ages have found helpful. So when we have a meeting like this, we can remind ourselves of our motivation of wanting to not only be of benefit to ourselves, to become better people, better teachers, but through that agency be able to help as many people as possible. Good, good. Okay. Well, be nice to start off with some updates. Who's got some news about their teaching? Whether you've started something new, completed something, making progress towards starting something. Just take a few minutes to sort of share that side of things. Peter, yep.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting then. I've got two groups coming up in August. One's a workplace group and the other one's a small group. So one's going to be via Teams, but I've got another small face-to-face group coming up. It was just sort of one of those things that evolved where there were some lovely young people who were demonstrating an interest and needed a very safe space. A couple of them suffer from anxiety, and they're really interested in exploring meditation to support, sort of what they're currently doing around themselves. So, so some nice opportunities coming up.
Terrific. That sounds good. Well, best of good fortune with that. How are you feeling in terms of readiness for it, Peter? You're feeling pretty confident?
Yeah, I've been really clear on providing information to the potential participants up front so that they're very clear on what the MBSM program is about and what it will do and also what it won't do for them.
Okay.
So, and also what I do and what I can't do for them. So, I'm a meditation teacher. I'm not a healthcare practitioner or a mental health therapist. It's really about encouraging them to have a meditation practice, and that's what we can explore together.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that sort of, the more information you give, particularly if you've got an assured audience, once people have sort of shown the interest and registered, I think the more information like that, the better, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Julie, did you have your hand up? Were you going to?
Yes, sort of. I was working with Lisa. We haven't done a lot, but we're aiming to do a online course in September, and targeting rural and remote health practitioners. Obviously, we both work in Northern Australia, so a good target group for us, but not prepared yet. And so we need to work our way through. Obviously the material's there. It's just being familiar with that, but it's more the, doing the online presentation stuff that we probably need to be more familiar about. And we're going to see if we can get organisations to fund participants for us so that participants don't have to pay for it. So I work with a couple of nursing agencies, and I was going to ask those nursing agencies if they wanted to pay and have some nurses participate, and then like Rural Health West and Krana and those type of agencies. So
Good.
and yeah, so that's we might be pushing it anyway. We'll work on it hard.
Okay, great.
Time-wise.
Good on you. Daniel, do you want to share a bit about, because you've dipped your toe in since
Yes,
last met with this group?
yes, absolutely. I had the privilege to leading what we call a practice circle, which is a pure meditation time, 40 minutes practice online in the meditation community. That was Sunday at 8 a.m. And it was beautiful because we had some meditators from different countries in different time zones. The majority was around Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia. And so it was morning for us, but then we had someone from where is he from? West Indies,
Yeah,
And so it was evening for him. And it worked for him as well. It was the Saturday evening. So that was a really nice time. And also I led my first teaching circle, and where we are sharing some teachings about a topic of our choice, and leading a meditation. And that was also interesting because online, it's very different to leading a meditation online, where you have sometimes you don't see. I think the first impact that I had was, oh, so many people with the black screen, so I don't know what's happening there. Something beautiful about the face-to-face is that you can see people and you can feel the energy. So I think my learning is to get used to that aspect and working with. It almost feels that you are projecting a little bit more, and and that's the feeling that I had, projecting into the universe almost. And anyway, that was a beautiful session that I led. That really appreciate.
yeah, and I tuned into that. It was terrific, actually. Daniel did a really good job.
You were trying to write to me. I can't hear you. Raise the volume.
Yeah, yeah, which actually turned out, the fact of the matter turned out to be that I hadn't turned up the volume on my own computer.
But those technical things, yeah, they're so crucial, because if they can't hear you,
Yeah,
they can't hear you. It's challenging. So learning of how to get ready for all those challenges that will come up, it's crucial. The preparation is just crucial.
yeah. It's probably worth mentioning, folks. I've spoken with Meditation Australia, and they're quite interested in Daniel and myself doing a training for presenting online in conjunction with Meditation Australia, which we'll probably do later in the year. We seem to have a fair bit going on just at the moment, but when the dust settles a bit, I'd really like to do that, because having done that meditation and contemplation online course myself, and then being sort of involved with Alleviate and Days Gone By, and now this meditation community, there are a lot of aspects to it, and particularly also if you're looking at just setting up to run an online program, and you know, I did it through Eventbrite, and that in itself was quite a piece of work. Maybe one thing to say that really helped with the presentations I've done online is getting one of these circular lights that you can get from Officeworks, or I wouldn't mind betting Bunnings have got them, and they're just on a little stand, and they're sort of like a circular light, and it really improves the quality of the way you look online. Actually, I'm not using it tonight because I'm feel like I'm amongst family and can't be bothered. There's enough to do. Life's too short. But if you're trying to really make a good go of it, then that costs about $40. It's well worth thinking about. Okay. Now look, the other thing. Oh yeah, Dee.
I was just, since you mentioned the ring and technical things, I had to do a certain thing online, and what I had done for that, because I had to basically interview. This was part of my master's. I had to interview like a patient and be drawing that patient out in a motivational interviewing style. But one of the ways I prepared for it was I decided that I would use a camera that was separate to the PC, so that I could actually place the camera, that it was sort of nearer the face of my participant, and so that way I'm looking at the camera when I'm actually looking at the person. And the feedback I got at the end of that was the patient was like, oh wow, I like it seemed, well, she thought that I really connected well, and like I think a lot of that was the fact that I was looking at her, because like often when you're on a screen with a camera, the camera's up to one side or above, and when you're looking at the person, you're actually not looking at them in the eye. And that really, I think, psychologically sort of interrupts with our real connection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of tricks like that, and that's a really good. Of course, the challenge with having a separate camera is you're just introducing another level of IT complication, and that's certainly.
You got to practice and make sure your setup is,
Yeah.
You got to practice that benignly with someone. Like, don't let it be the first time that you do these things when you really need it.
Absolutely. And, quite a lot of people use better quality microphones as well.
Yeah.
So it's, and, these little simple lights, some people do the whole sort of like photographic quality type lighting setups to really get a very good lighting effect. Okay.
It's interesting because, like, with sound, talking about having better quality sound, like there's been some studies, and certainly if the sound is not so good, as a lot of static and everything like that, it's actually going to be harder for any people to take away as much from it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I've got a practice tip for us all, because just a little while ago somebody pointed out to me that I quite a lot, and in years gone by, like when I first started speaking in public and running groups, I put a lot of attention into trying to get out of my vocabulary. And it was really hard work. And I wasn't at all conscious that it had come back into my language in quite a strong way, actually. And so I was really grateful, actually, that this person had probably took a bit of courage. I'm not surprised that the person who did it for me I was a bit surprised. But it was really helpful, actually. And I've been noticing just how often I do it and how easy it is to fill a bit of a gap while you either leave a pause or you think for what you're going to say next and go, and I think everybody that's spoken tonight's been using quite a bit. And so I actually do think it's worth pointing out. And if you're like me, it's really takes an effort to not lapse into it. So if you're interested to pay attention to it, if you think it's relevant and important, I mean, sometimes they can be quite useful. It sort of gives a bit of a gap. But then really, if you think about it, probably just leaving the silence is even better. So I just thought I'd mention that for you, give you something else to think about. But I've been putting a bit of time into trying to get out of the habit. And as I said, it was really interesting. I wasn't really aware that I was doing it until it was pointed out. So, how about we have a little bit of feedback from the meditation teachers training? Who was there? The last one. Brendan, Vicky, Melissa was, of course. Oh, Daniel, you were there. What did you take away, Vicky?
I absolutely loved it, and I took away a lot.
Yeah,
Particularly,
I'm going to have you all paranoid. I'm sorry about that, but
I know, and I was
I
thinking
actually
of
think
Paul.
I think it's a habit worth actually addressing.
I was having a giggle because I was thinking of Melissa. No pressure, Melissa. When you
Evening, Lisa.
I was just, it was terrific and I really loved it. And in light of that, I wanted to give you an update. I do teach once a week, just for half an hour online. It is just a pure meditation class, so it's not a course as such. And I may have mentioned before that I'm looking to move towards doing more online classes in the future, but that won't happen until next year at this stage. So for me, I've parked a few things at the moment just so that I can focus on selling a family business and get that underway. But I loved the course, Ian. It was enlightening. It was just so wonderful. And also because of the company that was there.
It was a
It was
lovely group, wasn't it?
it
It
was
always
really
is.
rewarding.
It's one of the great things about teaching meditation, whether you're teaching teachers or teaching students. Generally speaking, the people who turn up are well motivated and good people.
The other thing I think I mentioned to you, Ian, that because I had done the course with Paul and Maya back in 2021, I had made the assumption that it was the same course because it was under the Gawler banner.
Uh,
So I was pleasantly surprised that it was different and there was a lot of, they're both fantastic, but I still learned a lot. So that for me, I was because I nearly didn't come thinking that I'd already done it.
okay.
So just for your advertising, that would be a good thing to mention because I had made an assumption that was wrong.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful that I thought at the last minute, do you know what? I think I'd still really like to do this regardless. And then I could see that it was very different.
Yeah.
So that was just fantastic. So thank you.
Okay, lovely. Well,
And Vicky, can I just add something? Sorry, Ian.
Yeah.
I remember we were chatting about that.
Yeah.
And Vicky, you even said, they're so different. I can even run the one that I did with Paul and Maya as a totally separate course.
That's what I was thinking of doing. So rather than just amalgamating or plucking out bits and pieces, I really did think in the end, and when we were talking about that, Melissa, is maybe running 3 or 4 courses in the year, because I'm also thinking of imagery and contemplation in with that as well. I don't see that there's any reason to do either or. There's gems from both, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Brendan, did you want to add something?
Yeah, great course. I came back from that with a lot of renewed enthusiasm for meditating, which is good. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to restart my formal practice, so that works. So that was good. Yeah, really good. Like Vicky said, good group of people. Great to be just somewhere different for a change. Um, I've really been heads down working on my book and working on the audio book. And I got shanghaied into running some poetry workshops. So I'm doing that. And then when that's out of the way, I'll think about some meditation classes. There's a new venue in town, event space that's opened up at the local bookshop. That's actually a really good space. And I was looking at it and I was thinking this would be a good space for a meditation class.
Right.
So, like I've got some vague plans to maybe do like a one-off like talk there or something and see what sort of enthusiasm there is, because Malania is a town full of people who just disappear at 5 o'clock and you just don't see them again. So we'll just have to see what the enthusiasm's like for that. So
Okay.
but yeah, very very happy with the course, and it's there's been a lot of good sort of after effects from it.
Oh, good. Well, look, I'll just say a couple of things about the imagery course that I'm going to do in November, because I'm still to write the manual for it.
Encouraging.
But I've been thinking about it a lot for probably a year or two, because I've taught the imagery training several times, but the manual that's there for it, it was a bit like the ones that ended up being upgraded to the ones that you people have got now, whether it's the meditation or the contemplation one. And with the imagery, it's going to really focus on the mind and how it functions, how it works, and how we can utilize it the best in the context of how does that relate to the active mind, the still mind. So really imagery comes very much in the domain of the active mind. But if it's not actually approached within the context and the framework of the still mind and what that means, then I think it'll be really incomplete. And so that's the sort of challenge I'm sort of working on, is how to present and take seriously the active mind from the perspective of the still mind, which is a much more, well, it's a different kettle of fish. So I'm really enthused about it. I think it'll be really terrific, because I sort of feel its potential in so many areas. And I was talking to a friend just a couple of days ago who had sort of major foot operation, and he was having a lot of pain and was really quite disturbed about this situation. And by just giving him a fairly clear imagery practice to do, both sort of has relieved his pain and has him feeling confident about healing rather than, being quite anxious about it. So it's got enormous potential. I've seen it transform people in the sporting world, in the business world, relationships. And so it ranges right through from affirmations and imagery to really quite sort of advanced spiritual practice. Danielle?
Ian, I share your interest in the balance between the active mind and the still mind. And I've been wondering about teaching the three. I wonder if the sequence might be meditation, contemplation, imagery, contemplation. So it's an oscillation, as indeed you teach within the programs, of between active mind and then dropping into still mind.
Yeah. I think if you were doing it as a triumvirate, teaching the whole three, and you had sort of a commitment from people to attend the whole three, I'd definitely do imagery, meditation, contemplation, imagery. That would be the sequence I would do it in. But
You would end it.
I think in reality, if you're running an 8-week course with each of them, then people are going to come to one or the other, or some will do the whole three, and some will hear about it when you're doing the second one, and some will hear about it when you're doing the third one. And that's part of what I've aimed to do with the way we structure the course, is to have enough basic meditation running through the program so that people could join either one and still get the basics right. And I think that's going to be a bit of a challenge with the imagery one too, because the imagery's, it's a bit like I think imagery's got actually more content than the contemplation program. So to sort of essentialise the key points and give people a time to practice them and really take them to heart, utilise them. It'll be interesting to balance that with the meditation. But in terms also of the active mind and the still mind, there's quite a few traditions where they spend a lot of time on the active mind before they go into the still mind. But in actual fact, in the Dzogchen tradition and Soga Rinpoche, he did it completely the other way. He would start a public lecture, talking about the still mind, and then help to get people to have some experience of that, and then actually talk about the active mind and thoughts and emotions. But it's almost like establishing the ground before you go into the detail. Okay, well, we've got the exciting prospect of Melissa talking to us a little about the breath and how we can utilise that as a lead into meditation. So over to you, Melissa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much. So what intrigued me about sort of sharing this is that it can be really helpful to have many sort of techniques and tools in your bag regarding when one is leading meditation, whether it be in a group setting or whether you are teaching a one-on-one. And for most people, the breath, when we use the breath, it can be very, very anchoring for the mind. It can be a way to give the mind something to focus on. And it can also help to really release tension in the body. So for most people, that works really, really well. And I think Ian led it quite beautifully at the beginning of our session this evening regarding that, just showing how there is that sense of, the anchoring, bringing your attention to the breath. But what I've found is, from working with quite a few people now over a number of years, is that for some, not many, but for some, when the emphasis is given to the breath, it actually can create agitation through the mind and almost a feeling of exacerbating anxious moments. So I've sort of, and it's interesting, isn't it, when you've had that, but the breath, it works for most people, so why isn't it working for you? But what I really appreciate about Ian's work is that we're looking to make this as accessible as we can for as many people as we can, and for adapting it to the individual. So it's all things that you would be very familiar with in the 5 steps of the mindfulness-based stillness meditation practice. So the preparation, the relaxation, the mindfulness, awareness, and stillness. But it may just be thinking a little bit more laterally in the way that you enter into a meditation and what you give emphasis to. So what I've found to be very helpful is if you could look specifically really at the first step, preparation. And if you really explore that, in that you bring awareness perhaps to the attitude. So I've found that when people are moving into overwhelm, or, you know, the breath becomes quicker than what they would like and the mind is very, very busy, is just to emphasize that feeling of, the attitude of lightness that you're bringing to your practice. So there's one of lightness. It's not, and we can relate that back to how we want to have just enough concentration. So how we mention in our teachings, you know, just enough, like I think it's referenced, well, I know it's referenced in our manuals as 25% mindfulness, which is a concentration and activity of the mind, 25% of awareness, and I'm referring to the more vigilant aspect of awareness of the active mind, and then just simply allowing. So the way that you language and share and progress and lead into a meditation, I feel, is most important, that you're emphasizing that feeling, that of lightness, that there's no need to overly concentrate, there's no need to try too hard or to manipulate or actually change anything. And I feel that that helps to settle quite an overactive mind. I know that it sounds very simple, but it actually really works. And then I give more emphasis to posture. So I sort of bring the awareness back to, and it may not even be immediately coming into the body, but it might just be more about, you know, what do you notice your feet are resting on? What parts of the body are touching the floor? And as we know, we may be teaching to people that are laying down or seated. So, and then expanding on that and giving a little bit more detail, that knowing that beneath the floor is the earth supporting you. So you're looking to really create a sense of stability and support. So there's a feeling of immediately what we've spoken about of interdependence rather than independent, that you're not alone. It's not singular, you're multiple, you're connected. And what are you connected to? You're connected to this earth, that is supporting you, that it's stabilizing you, it's giving you stability. So I find that, you know, it sounds simple, but giving sort of emphasis to what the feet are touching. And then you could do the segue into more about, and what do you notice what you're sitting on? How does that surface feel? So this is all giving the active mind, that busy, overactive mind that is potentially moving someone into overwhelm, something else to focus on. And for many, if you give them the breath to focus on, it seems to create more of a shallow breath, and almost for some moves them into almost like hyperventilation, or a busier mind, like, I can't settle, this is not right, my breath is going too quickly. So, and remember, this isn't for all. This I've found this to be for a few people, but I've found these things that I seem to have worked with really, really helpful for the people that have needed it. So the support of the floor. So, and then you could just simply then bring emphasis to the sounds, like Ian did, but the noticing of the sounds around you, the noticing of the sounds that are closer to you, and the noticing of sounds that the body's making, and not referencing the breath as such, but it could be digestive sounds. And then you could come into sensations in the body. Now, I know Ian mentioned once, you know, if you're working with people that are moving into that sense of overwhelm, will have been given feedback from that participant or participants whether or not they're okay with checking in with the body. So what is helpful is that sensing into perhaps things more on the periphery first. So sensing into the feet, so giving more attention to what sensations you find in the feet, what sensations there are in the hands, so using body sensation, sensing into the face, before perhaps you explore moving into the feeling line center, so where there may be more vulnerable areas where people may not want to straight away check into. But if that's okay, then I would definitely explore the feeling line center and using sensations. Okay, so I've sort of jumped a little bit ahead, but you could come then to the second step of, so we've looked at preparation, but into relaxation. So come into a long progressive muscle relaxation, a relaxing body scan, but don't emphasize the breath. So as we know, it can be very helpful for some to, as we exhale, that letting go, softening, loosening, releasing. But we don't necessarily need to language it like that or to share it like that. We could just specifically come down to the feet. So bring the attention away from the head area, straight down to the feet, as we know is the guidance in our long progressive muscle relaxation sequences and relaxing body scans. And really sense into the feet, what sensations are there, and then progressively work your way up. And what I've found to be true is that once you do these segues in, then you'll find that the participant has settled enough to then bring the attention more to the breath. And the emphasis is just one of lightness. So it's just of lightness. You're not manipulating, you're not looking to change anything. It's just that simple awareness of breath as it moves in and out of the body. And I keep always mentioning it's that lightness of attitude that we're bringing into our practice. I don't think I've said once yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, good. Okay, so then the focus
Hey,
of
Melissa,
yes.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but
Have I?
you have. If you watch this video over, I think you're going to get a surprise.
I thought I was doing so well. I thought I haven't even said
I've had
yet.
the same problem. It's so habituated, you just don't notice it.
Okay, I'm going to watch the video over to check in with that.
Yeah, I think if you count, you'll be disappointed.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but it's better to give you the right feedback, I think.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you. So, and then you could also just, even before checking with the breath, you could bring the attention up. As I said, all of these things we're familiar with, we could bring the attention up to lightly at the area in front of the closed eyes, a little into the forehead, and resting your attention there. So as I just said, when I've noticed that I guide all these progressions into this way, then the breath is able to be introduced, and just and the languaging, just simply moving in and out, just keeping it very, very simple. And if overwhelm presents again, that you notice in the participant or they share with that, then of course we just once again broaden our awareness to notice the sounds, sensations in the body, and the inner gaze gently lifts once again to that area in front of or behind the closed eyes. And I just wanted to make reference to, I did a really helpful weekend at the foundation with Dr. Craig Hazard, and he was sort of referencing a lot of this sort of work. And the emphasis being on someone he was working with, and he said, oh, they were the perfect student. They really committed to a regular daily practice. And everything he gave this participant that was presenting with quite severe anxiety, many anxious moments, they did the work that he suggested, which was mindfulness-based stillness meditation. And because they committed with such diligence and just that lightness of attitude and that simple noticing of whatever was coming into their awareness, they actually got bored with when the breathing became quicker and the mind became busy, and it was like, oh, here it is again. And they just noticed it, allowed it. And Craig shared how they just then could move through it. So rather than it becoming an issue, it was just something that happened, that it was all okay. But he very much emphasized that this person that he was working with very much took on the commitment to having a regular, solid, daily practice. So I found that very helpful as well. So that's really what I have sort of made in a very concise way for you this evening. I'm open to any questions or if any feedback around if you did find it helpful, useful, or if you're using some of those techniques already.
Melissa, look, I think it's been great, really, really interesting. Thank you.
Thanks.
What we might do is divide people up into the
Okay.
breakout groups, and then they can have a chance to discuss it in a more personal way. So, Daniel, if you can split us up into groups of 3 in a moment or so. And folks, I think it's always good in this format that we're in and amongst peers to just share a little bit about what's going on for you personally in your practice and where you're at in that regard. But then also what's been your personal experience with the breath, particularly using the breath in your own practice, and if you are teaching, whether you've had people reporting difficulties or whether you've used the breath much. In actually my own situation, we actually focused on the progressive muscle relaxation for many years. I started in 81. And for many years, it was all about the progressive muscle relaxation. And we actually ignored the breath completely, actually. We disregarded it. And it's probably only in more recent times that I've found it's useful to bring it in. But yeah, from that early experience, so many people found both an inner peace and healing and what they were looking for in meditation using the progressive muscle relaxation as a major starting point. So let's divide into groups of 3, Daniel, if we could, and perhaps for like 8 minutes.
8 minutes, okay.
That'll give an extra minute as we come out. Thanks.
Oh, where am I?
No, Daniel's joined us.
Hey,
Recording in progress, Daniel.
yeah, I'm just going to pause the recording, otherwise everything.
Okay, so well, I hope you found that helpful, folks. We had a lovely conversation in our little group. And were there any particular points that came out, anything people particularly like to share with the group? Danielle, what happened in your group? We haven't heard from you all that much as yet.
Oh, we experienced Jeet's journey with the breath and really did a deep dive into how big a journey it can be for people who can, even with an experience of other modalities, can circumvent the issue of doing breath work because of the issue with the breath, and just sharing the journey of how it's worked and how it's now just, as you described, with Craig's with Craig's student, just that if you keep on at it through this path, then actually you just work through it and you have a different relationship entirely to what was once very fearful. It was really lovely.
Oh, good. And Bridget, were you in another group or?
Yeah, I was in the group with Danielle. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and we had a chance to listen to Lisa, and we went yeah, that we went quite deeply into her experience, and actually that was really, really wonderful. And I was very taken by how Lisa has transformed her relationship with the breath. And so that's also such a possibility too, isn't it? You know, like we can stay away from something that is difficult for a while, and then we can find our way back, and in a very profound way. So that was my main impression of your journey with the breath, Lisa.
Nice. What about you, Julie?
We spoke about our different experiences around breath, and that there are different techniques to try, and that will help us with focusing on the breath. And we did also speak about anxiety and how that has an impact on the breath as well. So what comes first, the anxiety or the fast breathing? So just looking at different techniques that have helped us with that.
Yeah, well, it's a huge area, and where we were talking about how in all the yoga schools, they usually go into it in quite a lot of detail with pranayama studies and practice. And quite a few of the meditation traditions give it a lot of attention. So I think it's one of these things that if you really wanted to study it, there's a lot that can be done with it. I think maybe that's something to consider, that it's not a casual thing. The breath obviously carries a lot of importance and can have quite a profound impact. I suspect that if you're going to use it more consciously, it probably would be befitting to actually study it, and probably in a yoga context, the best place for that. One of the best books I've found on the breath is a really old book, which I think still in print actually, by Ramacharaka. Have some of you read Ramacharaka's books? He's written a whole series. He's one of the early yogis who sort of learnt English and wrote in English, and he writes beautifully. That's it. Lovely books too. Okay. Science of Breath. I think it's been actually renamed, Vicky, which I found quite shocking because it was one of the early books I found really helpful, and it's got a lot of detail, and if you wanted a really good grounding in the breath, that book will give it to you. And I would think if you want a really good working knowledge of the breath, I'd really recommend it. It's terrific.
There's another one as well, Ian, a more recent one. I mean, of course, we're just reinventing the wheel. So that's, they do rebrand stuff. But there's a guy recently, a journalist, that went on a journey with breathwork, James Nestor. Some of you have probably heard of that.
It's great. It's great. It's a real goodie. Yeah.
I think I've got it here as well. I can show.
What's that called?
It's just Breath by James Nestor.
Breath.
So this one is a really another really helpful book. Okay. A lot of, really explaining the effects on our mental and physical health when we overbreathe.
Yeah.
Mouth breathe, nervous systems. It's a great read, that one as well.
Yeah, it's certainly good to be informed about it. Look, I think we'll wind the conversation up. I just want to emphasize, though, that you are actually opening a bit of a can of worms if you go into the breath. And one of the things that guided me in the early days, and still does, is really having a big emphasis on avoiding harm. And I used to have the principle at the foundation that if something had the risk of causing harm to just a small percentage of people, we wouldn't do it. Even if it might help sort of like 95% of people who took it on. If there was a risk that it was going to create a significant issue for some people, rather than dealing with that side effect or complication or difficulty, whatever it was, because we were working with people who were dealing with major issues, like in the cancer field, we found things that seemed to be pretty jolly safe. And that's what I found with the progressive muscle relaxation. Very few people had trouble with it. Some people have trouble relating to their body. Yeah. So like when we started doing MS programs, we really had to talk to people with MS because they get really weird sensations in their bodies. So that, and a whole range of them. So with an audience like that, you have to prepare people to approach the sensations in their body with awareness and try and avoid the thought of changing them, as it were. And sometimes they can't contract muscles and things like that. But generally speaking, if somebody has a problem with the progressive muscle relaxation, it just doesn't work for them. That's the problem, and they can't do it or they can't relate to it. It doesn't actually cause a problem like the breath possibly can. Sorry.
And can I just add something here? Like I am speaking in this way as a meditation teacher, not as a yoga therapist. So I'm keeping the work that I shared this evening in the context of your work. So I feel that I'm not guiding pranayama. It's very different. Breath control. It's more breath awareness. And for some, it's not even linking a count to the breath. But it's very different. It's a very different situation to pranayama, to what we teach as meditation teachers. Totally agree with you. And in the Hatha Yoga Pratipika, the breath cuts like a knife if not used wisely. It can create all untold agitation if one is not prepared for it mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So one should be very, very careful in the way that they teach if there isn't the depth of experience there around working with the individual and using specific pranayama techniques, which I wasn't speaking of. I was speaking more of the context of the breath, the awareness, and even when that simple awareness moves one into overwhelm. So, but as you say, of course, we could link it with a count, but that's still not, you're not changing the breath. You're not actually creating breath control. It's still, if there's a mental count there, it's just a noticing more of that,
you're talking about counting the breath in cycles of 10 there.
In cycles, yes.
Sort of breathing in for 4 and holding for 4.
And like I'm not talking about what is
controlling the breath.
Yes, which in yoga, everywhere now is referred to as box breathing, but in yoga it's samavritti, equal count breath. I'm not referring even to that.
Yeah. Okay, look, I think that it's a really good point, Melissa. I think differentiating between awareness of the breath and controlling the breath is a really good point here. And so let's finish there, folks, because we want to talk about the meditation teachers community that Daniel and I are in the process of setting up. And we sent you out the basic document around it. And basically the intention is to move what we're doing here into that forum. And I know that means that we're going from something that we've been doing for free, and when it starts having a fee attached to it, it can sort of feel like a change and take a bit of adjusting to. But what we're proposing is to actually really take what we've been doing here and advance it quite a bit. And there's this real opportunity to combine what you people are doing in developing as teachers with what we can do in terms of mentoring and helping you to meet the requirements for joining Meditation Australia, as well as your ongoing development, but also to use the audience that our meditation community provides as a place to practice and get more experience, and also to publicise what you're doing elsewhere, because we'd be quite happy, if you're presenting on the meditation community, for you to talk about things that you're doing in your own right. Really, the intention with the meditation teachers community is to provide, again, a forum where we can gather and do what we're doing and provide peer support. So talk about both our personal practice, our personal development as teachers, and what's happening in groups that we might be running. And as we've done tonight, have that as like a supportive environment. But I think what I've been feeling with the groups that we've been doing to date is that we've been doing both that sort of peer support and professional development in the same sessions. So what I'm suggesting going forward is we separate them. And, this conversation that Melissa's got going tonight about the breath, we could easily have spent the whole session on. And then when we're talking about, what's happening in terms of getting our groups going and our experiences as you start to do that more and more, and you could spend a lot of time on that as well. So in thinking about that, this group's been aiming to meet every couple of months, which we've been pretty close to doing. So we'll probably be more formal about that with the meditation teachers community, and the plan is now that we've sort of refined the plan just a bit in that regard, and instead of doing quarterly groups alternating, we'll every 2 months we'll alternate it, because the 2 months seems to be a pretty good gap between meeting and coming together for the people who are keen and want to do that. So at one meeting we'll do peer support, and then the next one we'll do professional development. And the other thing that we can do in that regard is if we give ourselves a good block of time for professional development, then I can ask some of my friends, and I suppose people like Craig Hassett come to mind, to come along and actually do something for us on those professional development sessions. So we can use our in-house resources, you like Melissa, myself, Ruth, other people who've got something useful to say. And then we can also bring in some outside people from time to time as well. So there's that sort of element to it. And with the Meditation Australia requirements, there's the mentoring requirement, which is quite a steep one in a way. And I've spoken more with people at Meditation Australia, and they pointed out to me that the mentoring can be done in a group setting as well as an individual one. And the requirement for full membership is 8 hours of mentoring. And it seems to me, on reflecting about that we could halve that, so that if you're wanting to meet that requirement, attending the peer support sessions, and I'd be happy to do some sort of paperwork with you around that, like asking questions and getting feedback and things like that to support it. But then that could be signed off as mentoring hours in a group setting. And then if you did 4 hours with an individual mentor, I think that'd work well for you and make it more affordable, because mentoring's quite an expensive thing, and it can be quite difficult to find people who who are prepared to offer that sort of mentoring role. And Melissa's one of those people who's offered to do it. Ruth's done it in the past. And some of the other people we know might be interested in doing it as well. But so there's that opportunity will be there. And then the other possibility is that we've decided that if people join the teachers community, that will give them free access to the meditation community. And so that means you can join in with those groups if you like. But also what I'd be encouraging you to do would be to consider booking a time where you can teach online and just practice your skills. And if there's interest in that, there's two ways we can do it. One would be to have like a regular sort of like student sort of presenters time, and we could have like a roster for that. And if you're keen, then it could be possible to book a regular time where you could do like the whole 8 weeks if you wanted to present it there, or you could just practice different sessions of it. So there's that possibility too. And then the other thing that's really useful, I think, about this platform that we're using is that it provides a closed chat room, which is quite secure and doesn't have ads and things like that. So it becomes like the WhatsApp sort of place where it's just all sort of there basically. And maybe Daniel, you can explain a little bit more about this and some of the other elements that you could share with the group.
Yeah, sure. Perhaps the best way is that if I show you what the community looks like at the moment. So there is one community that is operating at the moment, and that's the meditation community. And our audience is students and people that want to learn how to meditate or just even to drop in for a meditation session. And at the moment, Ian, myself, Saurabh, and Carmel are leading those sessions. So I will show you just to give you a better understanding of how it looks like.
And we've spread those sessions out in the time of the day. So we've got 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the evening, and noon. And as things build, we'll provide different days as well.
Can everyone see the screen? Okay, so yes, so this is, as I mentioned, this is the meditation community. And as a teacher, the other community that Ian was mentioning is the meditation teachers community. But I want to show you the other one is not ready yet. So I just want to give you a tour of this and how it looks like, because as teachers, you will have the chance to interact with students that are posting on the main feed. So this is the main feed. And just like Facebook, you have the chance to post about your meditations and how you're going, asking questions. There is a tab here where you can ask questions about anything. For example, or Lisa asked a question about a session if it was recorded, or questions about meditation. And at the moment is mainly myself or Ian that is responding to this. But the beauty of having other teachers in the community is that we can all help students to progress in their meditation. And so being in support to the students that want to progress their meditation is one of the aims of having free access for us teachers in the community. This is where I'm usually announcing the meditations that are happening, and this is a general tab. And at the top here, you have some tabs, and the one that Ian was mentioning was the calendar. And you will see that the calendar is now filling up. So we have meditations every 2-3 days at the moment. And the plan with the meditation teachers community is for you to book your own sessions if you want to. Or, for example, we have Wednesday that is free at the moment, Friday and Saturday. So there is a chance to lead your own meditations in one of those days. And you will let us know which day will work best with you, the time that will work best for you. Our aim is to cover as much as possible because we want to bring this community worldwide. So there will be people from the other side of the world that would want to meditate when it's morning for them. So it's very, very flexible in terms of whenever you have availability, you can teach. And for example, I've heard a couple of you tonight saying that you don't have the intention this year to perhaps lead. The beauty of this platform is that whenever you're free, if you have a weekend that it's free, you could potentially lead a meditation. The flexibility of this community is it's one of the main features that can help anyone.
And what it does, folks, is once a time's set, like if you just do a one-off, then the platform sort of sends out an email or sends out an email notification to everybody that it's on. So everybody will know there's like 10 a.m. in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, whenever you want to do it,
Yes.
that it's on, and it gives them a little brief about what you're planning to teach.
A little bit like this. Yeah, for example, on Monday there is a teaching circle with Kalman, and we'll give you the Zoom link and a brief description of what the meditation will be like. So the members will receive this reminder that this teaching circle will happen tomorrow. Then we have the classroom is the I would say the meat of the community, because this is where we find the practices, and you will have access to all the practices that are already here. Meditation have been recorded by Ian and Ruth, including all the scripts of the meditation, so you can lead also your own meditations.
Yeah, that was something we were able to do here. We weren't able to put the scripts on the app, but here we can. So we've actually uploaded the scripts so that if people are wanting to learn them, get more used to them, so they can do them themselves, they're available here. And of course, that applies to yourselves, although you've got the scripts through your manuals.
There is also a wide research that selection that Ian put together. So you have different topics: mental health, emotional health, stress and anxiety, sleep, pain, PTSD. It's and in the teachers community there will be probably more information and resources. And the videos that we are recording, I wanted to show you one of the latest recording that we did on yesterday with Ian, will end up in the video section, and I'll just show you a little bit of what it looks like.
It's in the sense of being vigilant.
So it's it's basically the Ian teaching. There is 10-15 minutes of teaching, and then leading a meditation and Q&A. And we're doing this every Thursday at the moment. And that's the one that we are recording. But ideally, we want to record more and more sessions.
And folks, that with these teaching circles that we've been doing since we started the meditation community, which is like 6 or 7 weeks, I think, a couple of months maybe, I've actually gone through the 5 stages of the mindfulness-based stillness meditation. So if you have a look at the topics here, there's an introduction to meditation, and that had quite a bit to do with preparation, and then the relaxation, mindfulness. Did a couple on mindfulness, and then the awareness one, and then the awareness one. I think I touched on quite a few extra things that weren't actually in the course that you might find quite helpful actually. And then these other ones are ones that we actually recorded when we were doing Alleviate and have just transposed them. So as time goes on, we'll drop them off actually and put these newer ones on.
Yeah, especially this one, Ian, that you've got your tongue out.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else should I show you? This is just a nice feature of the map of where members are around the world. At the moment, we have mainly Australia, New Zealand, but we have Asia, Europe, and the US and South America. That's the West Indies that I was mentioning at the beginning. Then there is a feature that we haven't played with yet, but this is a gamification element. So the more active you are in the community, the more points you will gain. And so there is a potential to use this as an incentive for people, especially for young people, I would say, that to be consistent with meditation, to posting in the community whenever they are meditating or sharing their wins and sharing their achievements. And the more they do that, the more points they can get. And so we are thinking with Ian of, for example, some of the prizes could be you win a meditation with one of our teachers. And so you will get the opportunity to teach a one-on-one meditation with the winner of the month. The potentials are really infinite.
It's one of these things, folks, like particularly for younger people, they seem to really thrive on that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a sort of, and I guess I remember Sai Baba when he was alive, and I used to go and visit him in India from time to time. He had a wonderful saying. He said, "I give people what they want, so they'll want what I give, or what I have to give." Yeah, what I have to give, and I think that's it. We've got to meet people where they're at, and these days, particularly with younger people, they're not like the kids when I was a kid. They've got different mindsets, and they've got a hell of a lot of distractions to deal with, and they've got an enormous need. You can just tell for meditation practice. So yeah, this is one of the things that apparently appeals to them.
Absolutely.
And the good thing about this platform is it's all built in. So it's not like we have to create it.
Yes. Yeah, that's the beauty of.
So if a lot of people ignore it, which I imagine they will, that's no big deal. But for the people who want to get involved in that side of things, it's there.
And I just wanted to mention. Sorry. Yeah,
no, that's right. You go ahead. I'll ask a question.
Okay. I just wanted to mention that. So this is the meditation community. The meditation teachers community will have similar characteristics, meaning that your own community or our own community as teachers will have this chat or this feed that will be for us. So, for example, let's say that I have a question about the breath, as we were talking about tonight, and I worked with one of my students that were having a hard time with the breath. So I could post my question here, and let's say Melissa would help me with that. And We could even, for example, jump in on a Zoom call, and we could, interact in that sense. The potential of having a chat just for us teachers is that we can share our challenges, we can share our, the things that, our achievements, we can share our doubts, we can share, and we can support each other in a very effective and immediate way. Because let's say that I have to lead a meditation tomorrow, and gosh, I lost my script. I don't know where the script is. I can jump in the community and just ask for help from one of you, and you will be able to share the script with me, just as an example.
And it's probably important to say, Daniel, the teachers community will be a closed community, so people need to apply. And whereas the meditation communities is a public one, anybody can join that. There's no sort of restriction on that. But very much with the teachers community, we want to have it, a select group for all the obvious reasons. And that's something we can do, will do.
Correct, yes. For now, this is offered just to our own teachers. And then in that, the meditation teachers community, of course, you will have a classroom as well with the professional development that Ian was talking about. So all the sessions will be recorded, and we will be able to revisit those sessions, have extra material that we can go through, and have extra. We will have the recording of our bi-monthly meetings as well, like the ones that we're doing now. And
I might mention too, Daniel, while you're thinking of what next to say, in the section down the bottom right, folks, live events, on the community, we've got 3 types of events. We're calling them circles, sort of a sense of people gathering together. And so the teaching circles are where there's a short presentation, a bit like Melissa did this evening. And then there's questions and answers, and then there's a reasonably long practice. The discussion circles have a start with a practice, and then they have a great, and then they have a breakout room, a bit like we did tonight, and then a group discussion to finish off. And the practice circles are just straight practice sessions. So if you're wanting to join in and practice, you could do either one of those 3. You could do a teaching session, teaching circle, and do a short presentation. There's questions and answers in that time too, and we often have questions. Well, we have questions on hand if there aren't any coming from the audience, because we're trying to get them into the routine and get comfortable with asking questions, which people tend to be a bit shy to start with. So that's sort of happening. But you could the discussion circles are sort of quite more interactive, as you can imagine, and the practice circles are less interactive, because basically you just lead the practice and hold the space for the 40 minutes. They're all 40 minutes. So to actually use one of these, or to lead one of these sessions, you'd need to have your own Zoom account. And Zoom is pretty handy. They give you a free account, a free access to Zoom for up to 40 minutes. And that's why, and it's a good time for these actually, and that's why we're limiting these to 40 minutes. We've obviously got, for the community, we've got a longer Zoom. We've got a paid Zoom account, but you can get a free one, and so you just then have to be pretty tight with the time, so you don't get cut off. But that's basically why we're making all 40 minutes seems to be a good time too. We experimented a bit with Alleviate with different times, and we've tried it with other places too. And for what we're doing, these regular meetings, 40 minutes seems to work very nicely for people. And it gives you time, if you're doing a teaching circle, to do a little presentation, but then still have a good practice.
Correct. Maybe perhaps one last thing that I wanted to mention is that one of the features of these communities that is updated continuously. So there are features that are starting to get to be updated recently, and so whatever feedback I'm sending, they're very responsive. And for example, one feature that I know that it will change in the future, but I'm not sure when, is the fact that at the moment they are charging in US dollars, and folks from Australia and from all around the world have been giving feedback to the school community, and I know that that this will be revisited in the future. I'm just not sure when, but that's something that I believe that the school headquarters in the US will also change for sure. Because I know that there was a question in the chat, in the WhatsApp chat, about the US charges. At the moment, they only accept US dollars. So of course there is depending on the fluctuations of the dollar, that could change. For example, I would in that to answer to that question that was in the chat, which was about charging in US dollars. There are some banks that are waiving the fee, the international transaction fee. ING is one of those accounts, which is a really good bank. I'm not getting paid by the bank to share this, but it's it's something that I've opened specifically for international transactions. So it's something that you could do. But I'm sorry, did you want to? Oh, I heard someone.
I might say, Daniel, because I wasn't sure what it was, but credit cards, the sort of conventional credit cards that charge a transaction fee, it's 3%. So it's sort of not a lot, but it's not nothing. It's 3%. I wasn't sure what it was, but like the standard credit cards, if you have to pay in a foreign currency and they have to convert it, they charge you 3% of whatever the amount was you paid. It's a pest, but hopefully they'll change it soon.
Yeah, hopefully they will, because there is pressure from, it's a relatively new community or platform. It's only been out for a couple of years, or a little less than a couple of years. So more and more communities from overseas are putting pressure on school to change this. Which I'm surprised, because the founder is actually from New Zealand. I don't know why he's still charging it, but he moved to the US. And one last thing that I want to mention is that part of school, one of the features is an incentivation, or an incentive to get more members into the community. So any member that is part of the community, including US teachers, you will get a referral, an affiliate referral code. So anyone that is joining the community through your link, the amount that they are paying to be part of the community, 30% of that amount will go to you every month, every single month. So, for example, let's say that your amount is $30 to be part of the meditation teachers community. I think if you have 3 or 4 people joining under your link, you're already paying off your monthly fee. As long as that person is continuing to be part of the meditation community, you will get 30% automatically you will get paid that 30%. which is quite a good incentive for anyone that is creating a community.
So what that means is if you want to run a regular online session and you've got people who would like to follow you, you could do it through this platform, and then it's all sort of readily there. And I think too, if people do that and they do bring a following, then not only would you get the sort of the affiliate fee, but I think we'd pay you as well, because it's all about helping each other, and so that would make sense.
I think that's all for me. If anyone has any question, I'm happy to, or myself or Ian, we are happy to answer.
I do have a few questions. Firstly, from my perspective, I'm just wondering if it would be, because I'm not au fait with this platform. Is there a way, Daniel, to potentially put a guide together of how to set myself up, what I need to do? But also, my question was, I know that the teachers community is not ready yet, and I understand that $30. Is the meditation community $30 as well?
So the meditation community will be included into the $30 that you're paying for the meditation teachers community. So once you join in as a teacher, you will get free access to the other community.
That's okay. If I was to refer some of my students,
Yes,
are they paying $30 a month to be a part of the community?
correct. Yes. So
Great,
at the
thank you.
moment, the meditation community is $30 a month.
Okay.
And at the moment, I haven't mentioned this, but at the moment the community is not open to the public yet. It's discoverable on the internet, but we haven't promoted it yet. The only place where we've promoted the community is here and through Ian's database.
Okay.
So once it will be open and promoted across the internet, it will probably be more expensive, but at the moment it's $30. Yeah,
That's $30 US though, which
30
is about
US
50 Australian dollars. So I think it is my bugbear. I was one that wrote about the US dollars to Australian dollars, and that could easily go up to $60 a month with the fluctuation in the exchange rate, which it ends up costing a lot of money, and not knowing it's not a set amount because it's not Australian dollars. So I'm struggling with that. That's the bit that's making me not want to join, is the US dollars, even though I want to join. So and I don't want to support the US at the moment either. So there's two things there that I don't like.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, it's definitely unfortunate.
I know it's I completely understand. It's feedback that we're giving, to the school community. I know that it's probably from their point of view, it's not a priority for them, but for us it is. So I completely understand. But I will update you if there is any change. I will update you. Yeah.
So Daniel, any of us can go in and set up a profile. That doesn't cost anything, does it?
Correct. Yes. To be
Okay.
part of the platform, it's like Facebook. It's completely free. So you can go in there, have a look at the communities there are free communities around, so you can discover all the other communities. There are many communities that charge a fee. And Nick, Vicky, you asked me about a PDF or something, or a guide to be
Yeah.
Did you mean to set up your own community on
Any of the stages. So what I was thinking of is even just to go in and set myself up and then to join this community, because I'm assuming at the moment, because there is no teacher community, that's why I was asking. So we would pay $30 now to join this community and then it's obviously paying for the teachers community down the track. And I guess it was just for me, once I've gone through that step, being able to then suggest it to other people that I know that might like to join, other meditators. Not necessarily teachers I was thinking of. Of course, there would be some teachers that might be interested, but it's more students as well that want to be able to access some of those resources. So if I'm teaching someone and they say to me, are you teaching more than one class a week? I'm hoping that potentially I can refer them to this community to get more classes. That's what I'm thinking of.
Sure. Look, I will take you. We haven't decided yet with Ian regarding this point, but I guess let me think about it. I'll come back to that question because that's an interesting question. There are several options there, but I will come back to this question.
No worries.
And I don't understand how the referral things work, because like if Vicky or Julie or how to you can end up getting 30%, but how? Like, I don't understand how that works.
Hey everyone, to answer this question, I created a new video because I realized that the one that I shared live in the teachers meeting was not correct. If you want to share your referral link with others, your own personal referral link from which you will be able to gain the 30% of anyone that is using your referral link, you will have to click on your profile picture here on the right hand side. So whenever you click that, you will be shown a few options. If you click affiliate, you will be shown your own personal referral link. So you can copy this referral link and add it to an email, a message, whatever communication tool you want to use. But just be mindful that at the top here you will have a list of all your school community, the communities that you are part of. You will have to click the meditation community, and then the system will generate your own referral link. This is your referral link for the meditation community. So you copy this referral link and you add it to an email or a message that you can send to others. Anyone that will be clicking on this link and subscribes onto the meditation community, becomes a member, from then onwards you will gain the 30% off of the fee that this other person will be paying every single month.
So Daniel, so if I was to join,
Yes.
whose link do I use?
At the moment, whenever if I will be sharing the link, that will be the community's link, the main link. It could be my link, for example. At the moment, because I'm one of the admin of the community, it doesn't make sense for me to use my own referral link, because at the moment all the income is coming through us. So I'm not using a referral link, but potentially I could use my own referral link. So if you click on my link, I will be getting 30% of every single month from your fee, and you can do the same. And to be honest, then any single member in that community right now has also that feature of sharing their own link. So anyone in the community will have a referral link if they want to.
I think, Vicky, what you might have been asking is, how do you get the link? And it's there automatically when you join.
So at the moment, if I wanted to go in and join,
Yeah.
I'll go into school
Yes.
and then look for meditation community,
Yes, you can also do that.
and of course set up a profile and then ask to join. Is that how it would work?
You will join automatically. You just click join, and you will be shown a pop-up window where you put your details, and you pay the $30, and then you just can join.
Right. So I don't
Can I just
necessarily
suggest
need a link.
something?
Yeah.
Well, but can I just suggest something? Because if school have put this thing in that can save people money, we'd be crazy not to leverage that. Like, why wouldn't we want people that are joining to save money? So
Yeah, sure.
basically, if, like, for instance, if I wanted to join tomorrow, then I just need to get a referral link off somebody who's already in there, and it's not like it's unethical. That's the system working as it should, and if we can save other people money by doing it that way, then I think that's the way we should do it, rather than just joining up without an invite.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah,
That's a suggestion.
Oh, a question in there, just talking about like the business model of it, but what about those teachers that are charging fees for their sessions? How the students are paying there to join the community and the resources there, but there's also there's also, how do they charge their fee on top of the members joining us paying their monthly fee? I just don't see how that fits into the model. Have I explained it well?
Yeah, I think if I understood correctly, you're asking, oh, if the members is paying $30, how you are going to charge that member. I think there is a potential, and again, so we are still building this. So your feedback is highly. We are really interested in knowing all your feedback. But at the moment, the potential of having teachers into the meditation community is for you to also find new students. And if you, for example, want to offer a one-on-one session with a member and charging your own fee or an extra fee, that's also a possibility. It's not something that we have included at the moment, but that's also something that you could do, and saying, I am offering a one-on-one session. And then at that moment, it will be up to you if you want to charge that person an extra amount of money. But that potential is there as well for you to find new students. That's for sure. So we just to be clear, we're not charging extra money from the students. They are just paying the $30 and they get all of this. And if in the future you are interested in having a one-on-one session, then you potentially could charge more money for the extra session and a one-on-one session.
So what we're seeing already, Lisa and others, is some people are coming to pretty well everything. So we've got 4 different events on in the week. Is it 4? Might be more. And some seem to turn up at everything, and others are just coming to one. The one that suits them particularly. But interestingly, the recorded videos are getting watched quite a bit, and the chat's getting used increasingly. And the other possibility with what you're sort of inquiring about is that there is the possibility through the live event section of the platform to put up a particular event, and there's probably some way of working out a financial arrangement around doing that too, I would think. If you wanted to do the whole like for example, wanted to present the whole 8 weeks through this platform, I think that'd be a way we could sort of work that out. Yeah, Peter?
Just a quick question. If we joined the meditation community now, would we be added to the meditation teacher community without having to subscribe to that community? Or would we, are we best to wait for the meditation teacher community and then be added back to the meditation community?
Yeah, Peter, I think it's a similar question to what Vicky asked. I would personally recommend just to wait for the teachers community, just because technically, if you join you're free to join the meditation community today. The only thing is that I will have to remove you from the meditation community and then join you in the other one and then allow you to be free in the other one. So technically, it will make it a little bit harder for me to technically remove you and then make you free and then move you across the other community. So I would recommend just waiting for the other one, and then I can allow you to be a free member in the other community, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I think we're thinking in terms of weeks rather than months, aren't we, Daniel?
Yes, it's not.
So it's not, it's not a long time away till it's ready to go.
Daniel, could you give us a heads up when you know when it's going to
Sure.
land?
Sure.
Because I have joined the community this week, so I mean, I'm happy to stay and just leave,
I think
in
what'd be
advance.
easiest in your situation, Bridget, having joined, and you could do this too, Peter. I would have thought, Daniel, this would work. Is you just let your subscription to the meditation community lapse,
Okay.
and just join the teachers community when it's up. That'd be straightforward, wouldn't it, Daniel?
Yes, I did that with Carmel, for example. I had to remove her from the group and then send a new link for her, because technically they didn't make it that easy. That's why I was saying, Ian, that
Well, if people let their subscription lapse, like, wouldn't that remove them from, or is it not that simple? Why wouldn't it be that simple?
Yeah, it's possible. I guess it's possible. Yeah.
Am I able to cancel at any time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You just don't pay.
Right. Yeah.
If you've got an automatic payment sort of through a card, you just stop it.
Okay.
And I would have thought that would clear.
Yeah. As long as I've got notice, then I mean, I'm happy to take responsibility for that,
Yeah.
So that's not something you have to think about.
Yeah, I would have thought that would work.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Possible. Anyway, you will be able to find it, the community through school. So maybe the first step could be to create your account on school, and that's the first step that you can do.
Folks, I think probably let's wind up for tonight. We said we'd extend the session till 9:30, and it's just 9:30 now. So, look, thanks for joining tonight. It's been lovely doing the range of things we've done tonight, and lovely to talk to you about this new possibility. Thanks for your interest, and I hope it's really helpful, actually. Really, the intention behind it is to help you to, feel really confident and competent as a teacher, and have a pretty dynamic community that you can share that development with. And also we're very conscious of wanting to help you to be able to become full members of Meditation Australia, because I think that's also a very good community to be a part of.